Anybody who will come through and state blatantly, this is the best solution, I would turn and run.
Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Kylee Mollotte with Retirement Fundamentals, joined by my co-host Ryan Anderson. And today we're going to get into more in depth of what annuities are and how they can maybe have a place in your portfolio. So we have a question in that came in and it said, what is an immediate annuity?
Fantastic. So what is an immediate annuity? This is really the most simple and basic type of annuity and one of the most popular ones out there. I want you to think of basically it's a self-funding pension. This is an insurance contract where you have a single premium into it. You put a big chunk of money, 100,000, 200,000, whatever it is that you can afford. So you put the money into it and that you're basically purchasing a lifetime income. So you put the money in, we'll say $100,000, and then next month you start taking an income. Now, the thing about it is an annuity is very different than an investment in the market. And when I say that is with an annuity, you've got a contractual guarantee. You put the money in, you get this income. And as you take income, it's going to take money off the top of that initial premium. So that premium is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. And sometimes, as a general rule, 13 to 15 years from now, you're going to hit zero and you will have withdrawn all the money out of that annuity. But because it's an insurance contract with guarantees, the income does not stop. That income will continue for the duration of your life, and if you set it up as such, your spouse's life as well. So, what you're doing is that you're taking a chunk of money to get a guaranteed immediate income that will start, and it can start next month, next year, 5 years, 10 years from now. But the term immediate means now. So, that's the answer to that question. And it will be there forever. Now, the thing about it is that there are different types of income that you can get from that. Sometimes that income is level. So you start out, and I'm making numbers up here. So you get $500 a month. Boom, there it is. It's from now until forever. Other times, it'll start out at $500 a month or whatever that number is. And depending on what the contract says, you can have an increase based off of a percentage. So we're going to have a 3% cost of living increase year over year over year, inflation cost. And so that each year you've got $500 a month and it goes up by 3%, and the next year goes up by 3%, 3%, 3% for a period of time, 10 years, 15 years, whatever the contract says. Others are based off of an index. So depending on an index performance will determine whether or not you have an increase in the income. So if the index performs, your income goes up. But what happens if the index does not perform? The index goes negative, or we have a bad year. That's a beautiful thing about an annuity is that the income will stay level. It will not go backwards. It may not increase, but it will never go backwards on one of these types of solutions. Doesn't that sound fantastic?
Yeah, it does. Okay, so if I'm listening and I'm thinking, ooh, do I want a level income or an increasing income? That kind of sounds like a no-brainer, right? Everyone wants more money. Taxes always go up, inflation goes up. So you got to think, yeah, this chunk of money is great for now, but what about in 5 to 10 years?
Mm-hmm.
So for those listening, why would they choose a level income over an increasing income? What are the benefits to both,
All right,
or
now that's a great question.
non-benefits?
Well, there's drawbacks and there are positives and negatives to both. And the thing about it is, if you talk to 10 different advisors out there, 10 different insurance agents out there, you're going to probably get 10 different answers. So you need to find a solution and work with somebody who is willing to listen to you and to put a solution together that is right for you. So let's go ahead and talk about that. If I've got put a chunk of money into, say, $100,000 into this product, this solution, and I get $500 a month. Now, I'm not making the promise. I'm not saying that's what you're going to get. This is a hypothetical example.
Right.
And I'm going to get that dollar amount every month for the rest of my entire life. Now, there are some things that calculate that. If it is on my life only, just me, then I'm going to get a higher amount. If it is on my life and my spouse's life, it is going to be a lower amount because they're insuring that income for two people. It's very similar to a pension. They've got a similar clause. So be aware of that. And then if it is the thing about it is if it is a guaranteed amount immediately, that will generally start at a higher level. because it's a guarantee.
Hmm.
And if you're going to be doing this, and for the first few years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it might be, you're going to have that amount, and it will be higher than if you have an increasing income option as a general rule. So the
Okay.
increasing option starts at a lower amount usually, but it has an increase depending upon the contract details. If it is a fixed rate of increase, then you can calculate that, do the math on it. But if it's an indexed performance based increase, they can show you past history. They can show you go back and say, this is what it's done for the last 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, whatever it might be. And you can see an example of that. But past performance does not guarantee future performance. So there is a risk there.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, so when you're doing the guaranteed year over year, that's okay. The best of the best, right? The best deal that they can get you right off the bat. If you're looking for an increasing income, it's a slow burn, but it will be a long burn.
Correct.
Is that what you're
And in
saying?
some cases, so there are solutions out there that will give you an increase for 5 years, 10 years, and then they stop, they level off. There are other solutions out there that will give you a increase year over year for the life of the product. So it depends on the company. Now, the thing about it is that, so in answer to your question earlier, what is the best solution? That's what people want to know.
Yep, that's
And the
fair.
answer is, and it irritates people that my answer is always the same, it depends. And now, what are you looking for? What is the client's age? What are the solutions they are? Anybody who will come through and state blatantly, this is the best solution, I would turn and run simply because they have got a thought process that everybody's the same. And that is not the case.
Yeah.
So let me give you a couple, two or three solutions or ideas where we use these products. All right, so product number one, I've got a guaranteed rate of return, and I've got a couple of $100,000. I put $100,000 into one of these. It's going to give me an income starting today. Then I put $50,000 into the similar product that is going to give me income in 5 years, so that I know I'm going to have an increase in 5 years, and I know exactly how much that's going to be. Then I take another $50,000 and I put it into another product like that that'll give me an increase in 10 years. So I've got three solutions there, three products, three contracts. One of them is going to give me income now, and I'll just make up numbers here, $500 a month. The second one is going to give me income 5 years from now. Now, I put half the money in there that I put in the initial contract. However, I've got 5 years to let it sit there and bake. So I could get more money out of it in 5 years. And these are guaranteed rates of return. And then so I'm going to get maybe $400 5 years from now on that $50,000. And then I've got another $50,000 that's going to sit for 10 years. And I might get $600 or $700 a month out of that 10 years from now. And now, again, these are hypothetical numbers. I'm not promising that.
Right. You're staggering them. Start now, start in 5 years, start in
Mhm.
10 years, and then in 10 years, you're getting all three
Yeah, and so you've
incomes.
got those, so you're going to have increases, so we can take care of inflation, we can take care of travel costs, something like that. Now, there's another thought that maybe I want to put in the whole $200,000 into one of these solutions, these products that'll give me the increasing income for forever. Well, you could do that. You've got a guaranteed dollar amount right now, but after that, all bets are off. There are no guarantees on the increases down the road. They can show you historical performance. You can adjust your indexes each year. You can adjust your to 1 year, 2 year, even a 5 year index, some of them have. And you could do that. Is that the best solution for you? It depends. So that if you have a couple of really good years, you could actually outpace the laddered approach that we first talked about, where you have multiple annuities.
Yep.
Or here's another solution that I really like, and that is a combination of the two. So I put into this $100,000 into the immediate annuity, and I get a dollar amount that I'm going to get right now. Then I take the other chunk of money and I put that into one of these increasing products for 5 years from now, so that we have an opportunity for it to grow bigger, bigger, bigger. So using a combination of both of those solutions could be something else. So the idea here is that we try to find something that is customized to you, and to go through and look at it. Quite often that we have this conversation and we talk about this, that we'll sit down with folks and we'll put together a plan for them to retire with. And all right, so here you are, you're 60 years old. You're going to retire in 5 years at age 65. According to your Social Security report, we have X amount for your Social Security. Your spouse is going to get X amount as well. And so we're taking a flooring approach. We put that as a foundational piece. If they have a pension, we'll add that as well. Now, with this, we can have a guaranteed dollar amount we throw on top of that in the rate of the fixed, the level income annuity. And then we have another income that we can put on top of that in the increasing income variety. And we know what the minimum amount is in that, so we can have some solid numbers that we can have a guarantee for. What happens? Because tell me if this has ever happened to you. We put together a beautiful plan that's for 5 years from now, and 2 years in, we get a phone call. I don't want to work 3 more years.
It sounds a little like this. Sounds a little like this. Hey Kylee, I know I told you I wanted to work for 5 more years because I really love my job. Turns out I don't love it that much, and I'm ready to retire now. 3 years earlier than I was planning. It's like, okay, let's see what we can
Well,
do.
and that's the thing about it is by having multiple solutions here, we've got some options. Now, mind you, if we've signed contracts
Yeah,
2 years ago, those things are in place. And some of them may not let us start income. Some of them may start income at a significantly lower amount. And so, but the point is that if we did our jobs right, we didn't tie everything up in an annuity. We left plenty of money out for liquidity.
right.
And so that is a big piece. But the thing about these solutions is that they do offer a level of flexibility. They do offer us the chance to go through. It's like, okay, we can start income earlier on this one. Maybe you've got some money in another account somewhere. Let's take that for the next couple of years, consume a chunk of that while we let this keep baking. My point to that is if we do this, we've got a comprehensive plan and we are in contact with you for the years leading up to it. It's not a here it is, let's put it together, set
Yeah,
it, go and have a good life, and you're never going to hear from us again. That you should be getting regular
right.
reviews, and if not, there's a problem.
Yeah. Well, and I want our listeners to really understand that comparison is
Hmm.
the thief of joy, right? Everyone is so different. Even when I was doing Medicare, more often than not, the husband and wife were on
Hmm.
different Medicare plans because they had different health issues. You have a different financial situation than your neighbor does, than your sister does, than your parents did. You are different. So Ryan has said it a handful of times. This is fully customizable because it needs to be. When you're looking at your retirement, that next 30 years, your longevity, right? You're trying to mitigate these risks or take them off the table. Sequence of returns risk. We want to get rid of that. We don't want to have all of our eggs in the market to say, well, I'm just looking for growth. Well, I still have 30 years to live, right? So the market goes up and down. I mean, yes, it's up more than it's down, but any of us fortune tellers? I left my crystal ball in the car, so that's not going to work for situations like that. And you don't want to leave your retirement up to a hope and a prayer. So there are some in certain aspects where a guarantee is a necessity, right? You need to stop worrying about so much what everyone else is doing, but what are you doing to protect your assets? There are avenues that you can definitely go down that will give you that income that you need, give you the growth that you need, but you need to be open to different concepts because what's right for you is not going to be right for your neighbor and vice versa. So when you're going into retirement, you need to have an open mind to say, what's out there? A lot of people don't know what's out there. They've just heard what they've heard on TV. Gold and silver, that's on TV a ton. Crypto, that's on TV a ton. But really, what do we know and how is that going to affect us? What people need to know is what's going to be in my bank account next month? Do I have something coming in? That's why everyone's so frightened about what's happening with Social Security because that's a guaranteed income that they were counting on. So how about you mitigate Social Security, get rid of that? That's not your main worry. What can I do with the portfolio that I have created over the past 40 working years? How can I make that last for the next 30?
And I say this all the time when I'm meeting with folks. The goal is not to acquire a big pile of money and say, oh, there's my big pile of money. Look at that. No, the goal is to acquire a
Right.
big pile of money and convert that into a lifestyle, convert that into an income that I know
Right.
is going to be there for the duration of my life, my spouse's life, so that we can have the retirement we dreamed of. We can spoil the grandkids, we can do the traveling, we can do the hobbies, we can do whatever it is that floats your boat. The thing about it is that in order to do that, we recommend that you talk to somebody who does it. I mean, most people only retire once, sometimes twice. And some guys listening to this thing around, and, oh, I did it 3 times. Like, props to you, man.
Well, if you're
Um,
Brett Favre, he's like 5, so.
good call. But yeah, but we retire 6, 8 times a week. I mean, you and I are sitting down with folks that often, so we've seen
Yeah.
it, and odds are we've seen it. Now, the thing about it is, if you would
Yep.
like help with your retirement, if you'd like to help to hear some of these solutions and maybe some of the other ones we have to offer, please go ahead, go to retirementfundamentals.org. Click the link to go ahead and set up an appointment, and we can visit with you and we can talk about your solutions, your situation. And we are here to help.
Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. We're excited to have you. We'll be back next week. See you then. Thanks.